Congratulations, Sophia, for being the MCR scholarship winner.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about maybe what your role is currently and why you applied to get this MCR certification.
Yeah, so currently my role is strategic portfolio planner for the Americas at Google. I cover New York to Miami and Texas, and I work with our cross functional partners to interpret headcount demand into physical space. I've been in the industry since 2008, so my career has transitioned from architecture to project management, construction management, now to strategy. And the MCR has always been on my radar to help me kind of drive my industry knowledge and help me relate to my cross functional partners. So it's really been on my list to do, and the scholarship just helped me, just helped enable that.
Hmm. That's a pretty broad and varied background across all of those functions, and you've continued to stay in real estate, throughout that time frame. I mean, you've seen different facets of it, but you've continued to stay in it. What is it about real estate that has captivated your professional interests?
I think from my start in architecture, I really enjoyed seeing something from an idea to a physical space, just translating that thought across time. I love the permanence of architecture. I love the legacy that architecture leaves behind, and the way it speaks to culture, and it speaks to the zeitgeist where we are at this time. Initially, I didn't think my career would continue in architecture or continue in corporate real estate. Around 2008, 2009, and 10, the financial crisis at that time kind of pivoted my you know, opportunities away. And so that is actually how I started to transition my career away, but I didn't think I'd get the chance to continue in corporate real estate. And I just got lucky and, never looked back.
That's outstanding. And looking back during the financial crisis and where you are today, where do you find real estate today? Uh,
I think real estate is in a position of accelerated change. So, not just with technology, the pandemic also accelerated change. Companies that never thought that they would do remote or hybrid were forced to do so and are now trying to figure out what's the next step with that. So, we're kind of at the precipice of, trying to figure out which direction we go. And there's so many avenues. And I think a lot of companies are struggling with the pace of how the industry has changed, how technology supports varied working situations and scenarios, and how people actually want to show up to work. So we've got a new generation coming in that's expecting flexibility, an older generation that may not be as comfortable with the flexibility, or they may enjoy the new found freedom that they have. So I think we're in a position that we need to really highlight strategy and figure out where companies want to go and help them achieve that.
And interesting you say accelerated change. That's basically our theme for real estate today at Trascent. That's what we see, and we call it real estate is going through a phase of accelerated change. Things have accelerated.
Absolutely.
Um, So I'm going to turn now to perhaps your aspirations with the MCR. What are your aspirations? When do you expect to complete it? What do you hope to do with it?
Well, actually, because of the scholarship, I'm able to complete it much faster than I originally planned. So I started my first class in earlier this year, I think in Q1 of this year. I had the opportunity to do both online and in-person classes, and I'm on target to do the capstone in March. So that is approximately, yeah, it has really accelerated my path to the MCR. And there are a number of things I'd love to do with the MCR. So the most immediate is be a better cross-functional partner. So if I have some perspective from finance, if I have some perspective from workplace services, that just allows me to understand where my partners are coming from, help us to make better decisions at the end of the day. Um, and in the longer term, I would love to kind of pay it forward and continue with CoreNet and become one of the faculty and teach a class. Um, Not only because in the classes that I've taken and the most of the events that I've been to at CoreNet, I rarely see someone that looks like me. But also, I know that teaching a class can not only help me relearn the material, but to learn from the students in class. I've heard time and time again that the instructors really learn a lot from the participants.
Yeah,
So that helped with my
it's a
continued.
two-way street.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think when I was in graduate school, I found the same thing. You learn from your class peers as well. And you mentioned something interesting. One of our goals for we're a minority-owned company, certified minority-owned company. One of our goals with this scholarship was to focus on bringing different sources of talent into real estate, diversify the demographics within real estate. That's the only reason we put this together with the CoreNet Foundation. Being a minority-owned company means a lot to us, and I think if you look at our employees, they're from all parts of the world. Very very diverse. So it's part of our DNA and our values. So it means so much to me when you say that you also noticed.
Yeah, and I really appreciated. I felt like the scholarship made me feel seen, and that there is a recognized, lack of diversity overall in the industry, and there is a targeted effort to help bridge that gap. So I appreciate the scholarship again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we are delighted, and I think to hear comments like the one you made is the most gratifying thing. I don't know if you watched last year's podcast. Kimberly, she said something similar. She said, in meetings, people listen to what I have to say. I'm invited to meetings I never used to be invited before. And that was so gratifying to hear, even if you affect one person's career positively through MCR and through the scholarship. I think it's a wonderful outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And being in the classes gives you the confidence to speak up, gives you the confidence to, be supported by your instructors and say, yeah, that's a great example that happened to me at XYZ company. And um, er, they really value all the experience that everyone brings to the table. So it definitely makes you feel that you are truly a part of the industry and truly making a difference and that your perspective matters. Yep.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. It's a real pleasure to meet you, and congratulations once again, Sophia.
Thank you so much, Rakesh. I really appreciate the scholarship and your efforts.